back. This is our next piece. We're going to be doing some painting. I think we're going to change some hardware. We have a pretty good idea where we're going to go. Anyway, repair-wise, there's really not a whole lot. The unit itself is in pretty good shape. The drawer glides are all out, but they had all of them, so thank goodness. So we'll just have to put these back in. As you can see, the drawers are all wonky on this. And we didn't like the fact that the hardware was so tiny. So we're going to replace the hardware on it, do some painting, maybe some staining or whitewashing, and we'll see where we end up with this one. Ready?
Ready. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning this piece with LA's Totally Awesome. You can get that at the Dollar Tree. This whole bottle is $1. I'll show you our clean water. And just a reminder, make today amazing. I want that near what I'm cleaning because, you know. Here's our before water with the LA Awesome in there. And a nice clean rag. We clean it before we sand it because we want to make sure that we're not going to be getting all the whatever is on here down into the wood and gunk up our sandpaper. Now I did clean this spot and sand a little bit just so we could see what was underneath it, so we could kind of do some planning as to what we were thinking we would want to do. Okay, well, I want to see if I can get this all down to bare wood. So I'm starting out with an 80 grit. Okay, well, I've decided that this is going to take 10 years. So now it's going to take 10 years to get this done. So I'm going to use the Kleen stripper. It's a 15-minute formula. So we're going to see what this baby gets us. We can do it faster. Make sure you're wearing gloves and a mask and eye protection when you're doing this. Stuff stink it. So I'm just going to put it on liberally. Brush it. Hearing thunder in the distance. They say we might get a storm today. The secret is to keep this stuff wet. So we'll just let it sit now. Do its thing for 15 minutes. Okay, so now we let this sit for 15 minutes. let's scrape it off and see what we get. Okay, so we picked up some Kwik wood. And I'm just going to mix this together. And then I'm going to fill. We're going to use one of the holes, but not the other because the hardware we bought is bigger. So I'm going to fill the inside holes of all these drawers. They say this is paintable in an hour, so I'm imagining going back and sand it in an hour. We've never used this stuff before. I'm sure Jim has, but these little spots are where they had originally, I think this piece had like one pull at the top and they changed it to two. But when they filled it, they didn't fill it so that it would be smooth. So I just filled it till it's smooth. Actually, if it works, I'm kind of digging this stuff. And we'll let that dry, and then I'll come back out and sand that smooth. And then we can scuff sand and go on to painting. So now I'm going to finish scuff sanding. so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the prep to prepare for the surfaces. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is spray this. I'm gonna let it sit for about 4 minutes, and then I'm gonna wipe it off. So one of our viewers asked a question, what is the difference between Dixie Belle's White Lightning and the prep? Dixie Belle's White Lightning is a TSP based cleaner, degreaser, that you're gonna rinse. This is a cleaner, the prep is a cleaner, degreaser, and it prepares the surface to receive paint so that the paint will stick better. So we don't rinse it off, we just wipe it off. But we let it sit there for 4 minutes and work. With the prep, if you have any drag when you're wiping it off, that's a good thing. That means you're grabbing all that junk that was on there. Sometimes I'll actually use the prep, depending on how dirty the surface is, twice. So I'll do it once, wipe it off, and if I kind of feel like, hey, this just isn't clean enough, I'll do it again. There's no harm in it. So, but technically you only have to do it the once. And you don't have to do it on wood that's been completely sanded. Okay, so we're going to paint this piece sage green with Rethunk Junk by Laura. Okay, so the effect that we're doing on the top and on the drawer fronts is called a white wash. So I put a little bit of paint. Let me see if you can see this. Stained glass. Can you see how liquidy and watery that is? So it's just a little bit of paint and with some water. If you're going to do this, start with a 50-50 mix. I wanted it a little more see-through. So if you want it a little less see-through, use more paint, less water. If you want it more see-through, use more water, less paint. So that's what I did. And then you just stir it. And then you put it on. Painting that by faith. Oh shoot. The drawers are heavy. I mean, you can see how it's just splashing around. And I like to do this with the wood grain.
For the past couple of days, Cindy's been working like crazy on this thing, and she's basically done almost all of it. I was busy with a whole bunch of the business end of stuff, trying to do some video editing and Instagram and Facebook, and catching up on some of the business paperwork. So she's been out here cranking away at this thing while I've been doing all this other wonderful stuff. And she's back to work today, so I'm going to see what I can do about trying to get this thing finished up. So hopefully this will be our last coat for the top. And then my darling wife came home and she said, "Oh, you polyed all that." She says, "Did you paint the other side of the drawers green?" No. So here we go. Forgot all about them. So this should be about it. We got all the poly on. We got all the paint on in a minute here. We'll let it all dry. Then we should be able to put it together.